It's Key Model World Live 2026, so stay tuned and all will be revealed. Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to Piccadilly Model Railways, and you may be able to see I'm on Northampton Station and behind me has just pulled in a 7:30, so that makes me wonder, am I going to get one going all the way to Birmingham International? I'm on my way to Key Model World Live, but looking at the display up there, that says it's an 8-car train. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, whichever the way, I'll see you at the show. Enjoy. This is the first layout I've seen. This represents Whitwick Station. And this chap here is going to tell you the name.
This is Charlie.
So, and what a gorgeous station this is. So we've got something coming through the tunnel now. I do have to say, and Robert, if you're listening to this, I do love that the conrod seat going round. A little bit of a burst of speed there.
It's a bit temperamental. I'll send them off in here, you know. Yeah. Just a bit.
Well, he's standing there in the right place. That's terrible, that's in the wrong place. Never mind.
Engage. I think that's a Q1 coming there to on the left.
I like it. Publicity there. Yeah.
Can I just ask you, what is this station a real place or is it made up?
It's a made-up location, a fictional location, but it's loosely based in the South Downs. So we merged the real places of Petworth and Fiddleworth to make Pettleworth Downs, basically.
And you can see what a gorgeous layout this is. And I love, we've just been talking about the back scene, and actually it really does look like the scene just carries on into the distance. You can see what a beautiful job they've made of that as well. So it's not all about the railways, is that? What a gorgeous layout that is. This is Engage again. $31 on the bottom.
Loosely based off Peak Forest. This bit is based off Buxton, and that bit is based loosely off a real place that existed in Congleton.
Nice one. So this layout is called
The Smalldale Quarry.
Smalldale Quarry. Same layout, there's a peak pushing some hoppers into the yard. And a double-headed 25 coming through as well. This is the Hornby magazine, no, the Hornby layout. So this is TT, obviously HST there. And there's an 08 with some different wagons. The thing that's caught my eye is, one, that viaduct and the water. Now, I just asked the chap if that was resin, and he said it's not. It's done with Marklin's method in Sweden, which is toilet paper. But look at the gloss on that. That's absolutely incredible. So I'll just pan across. I can't get too far, there's a chap to my right. So there doesn't appear to be anything running at the moment, but just look at that layout. I've just come across this. This is a 5-inch gauge 37, and it must be 4 foot long. Been told it weighs 80 kilos, and it takes between 2 and 3 people to lift it. They've got it in a box down there, and they can put it in the back of a truck. But what an amazing beast! You probably can't hear its sound. I don't know whether you can hear that or not, but it doesn't sound very loud here, but I'm sure when it's outside it will be. After yesterday's announcement, I had to come and see the 170s and associate classes. So they do look incredible, even as this level of progress. Obviously that's a bare shell. I think they said this was an improved shell. I'll ask in a minute. But you can see that one just there with all the seating in there. And it's lovely to see the seating actually looks like the seating as it is, as opposed to just like a lump with a kind of table in front of it.
Because of the coaches. I said, when they come out, he said, well, they've been delayed because they're doing the doors.
Just speaking to Richard Proudman, this here is the revised version. If you look, there's a grille there. And if you look at that one's bigger than that one. And there's 1 or 2 other bits. The moulding lines are a lot more visible on this. So it's going to be an absolutely fantastic model. The other one that's caught my eye is that 69 just there. And Richard's been very upfront and said that the buffer beam is going to be the standard design of buffer beam across the range, whereas the actual locomotive is slightly different. But as you can appreciate, the tooling to do that would be astronomical, and considering the majority of funds are going to a charity, it would be inappropriate. But yes, so many things to look forward to. And this is Bachman or Graham Farish's display case. So 101 there and a 66 in the background with some steamers on the top. I'll be honest, I never really got into steam on the N gauge, to be honest. I've got a couple, but you can see there you've got your 220s, 220s, and the DeZero 350s. And I did end up coming up on a 350, pretty much exactly like that. Interestingly, the livery on the 350 is more silverized and metallic looking, and I did mention the 730s, that is a white, and the colours have been sort of flattened, although I do think the 730 livery does look very well. To be honest, it looks absolutely gorgeous. If you want to see it, have a look at the introduction, you'll see a picture of it in the background. And there you've got your 150s and 158s. It would be nice actually at one point to get a 158, but it's got to be in Northern. Okay. And there's some more coaches. Again, this is all Graham Farish Engage. And 1001 just there. Thinking that must be a prototype for the peaks. And there's another 1001 in the green over at the other end there. Brake vans and test coaches, 47s. There's 158, very similar to the one I had actually as a 00, which did bite the dust. Not because it weren't running properly, because I couldn't cope with the livery. And it didn't fit, that's why I got rid. There's that. Let's go to somewhere else. Again, I'm at Bachmann Europe, but this is a different part of the arena, if you like, to the train section. And Thunderbirds. And I do love them, I'll be honest with you. I've got all the videos. And occasionally you get them out. It just brings back so many memories. And that Thunderbird 2 there is, I'd say, probably 18 inches long. But I remember either last year or the year before, they had one which is about 4 foot long, which I'm told was the same scale as that Thunderbird 1 just there. But anyway, stay tuned for that, and I'll show you something else with regard to the Thunderbirds later. Okay, at a Cura scale now, so you can see there's the new 73 9s, and also the water treatment train, railhead treatment train, which I believe is due out next year. So there's some Mark 5s there in Caledonian as well, because of the 73s. They've re-released the Caledonian Sleeper. Right, so you can see now the most recent announcement of the 142s. Now, I was just telling the guys here, I don't need one, I don't want one, but I'm very tempted by this one. You know, there's one just been repainted into the on the main line now, and I think it's owned by LSL, and obviously the Turbo Star, which we've seen before, but looking at the standard of the 170 from Bachmann, that is actually, they're very, very similar standards. And obviously then the 08, which I believe is probably the same as it was the last time you saw it. And obviously there is the Hellion 150, 153, which has now become into the Cura scale range, I believe. So here we are at Hornby. Now, granted, a lot of this stuff has been seen previously. I think the Avanti West Coast 800 is most recent, along with the Deltic, and you've seen that on the channel as well, and you've also seen the Flirt, although a bit 3-car albeit. That particular one is the Pride version, so that looks really nice. And also you've got the West Ridings coaches there, which do look absolutely beautiful. I'll be honest, I was kind of tempted by that, but my problem being is that once the train goes into the Traverser down below, how do I turn it round without taking that off? And then I have lots of complicated movements with the beaver tail and the locomotive, and it just makes life very complicated, so I've decided against it. But beautiful train nevertheless. Well, that's it then. So I'm now back at home, and I have to say I loved every second of it, but it was a very tiring day. And there was some quite loud families on the train coming back, so that was quite an interesting experience as well. But so I'm really glad to be home. But what a fantastic day was. Met so many people and loads of other YouTubers as well. I'm not even going to attempt to name people, because there's bound to be one or a few that I'm going to forget. But it was absolutely brilliant to meet everybody. And I will just say Jenny Kirk organised a meetup as well, just behind Sawyer Models. And again, absolutely fantastic, the people who came, and it's really lovely to meet you and everything. So anyway, let's have a look at what I got. And I'll be honest, I did go a little bit mad. Perhaps I shouldn't have, but there we go. We don't do this very often, do we? Now, at the back of this magazine was a voucher. And that was for a free vehicle from Oxford Rail. Now, how they managed to afford to do all this, I've no idea, unless this stock was stagnant and just not moving and they just wanted to clear it out of the way. I don't know. But I've got a lovely little Range Rover there. So 00 gauge, so that would be absolutely fantastic, very usable on the layout. And the other one, if you paid £1, you got a second mag. So I bought another £1, or I paid £1, and I got this Jaguar D-Type, I think it is. Somebody said it was a D-Type. I can't quite see. Yes, a Jaguar D-Type. So what a fantastic vehicle that is. So they could be just somebody's got one of those and just park it up on the side of the street. I am planning on putting a little car park just behind Mayflower Steps, and that can double as the station car park as well, just for a few cars, so they can sit nicely in there. But also, whilst at the Oxford Rail stand, I thought, well, I could do with a few other vehicles. So I saw a van, Network Rail van, and I've got one of those or a couple of those in N-gauge. So I thought that would be quite nice. And the other one, this is in a box. You didn't know that, did you? But this is a lorry tractor. So you can just, I'm not going to take it out completely, but you get the idea, can't you? Again, that is absolutely fantastic. Now, there is another vehicle which I'll show you towards the end of this little soiree, shall we say. So I went with a list of things that I wanted to get, and one of the top things was foliage. So let's move that out the way. So I always go to Batman, and they always do these packs of foliage which are absolutely fantastic. And if you go to a show like this, I highly recommend that you get this. These are £15, and look at the amount of stuff that you get for 15 quid. Yes, they're sample bags, but I mean, I've got 4 or 5 of these. That's the long grass. And, you know, it lasts forever. The scatters obviously go a bit quicker. And, you know, these other bits, there's some fine, is that fine leaf foliage in there? No, that's coarse turf. There's some fine leaf foliage, that sort of thing. So that was brilliant. But I thought, well, whilst I'm there, I've got trees to make. So whether I use these armatures is irrelevant. I wanted it for this, which again is a huge amount of that fine leaf foliage there. So I thought, why not? I bought 2. So what they were saying was £15 each. So technically that's £45. But if you buy 2, that's £25. So you got the extra one for £10, so £5 off. So that little lot came to 40, which I know is quite a lot, but at the end of the day, that will last absolutely ages. And bearing in mind, that's on top of everything else that I've got. So I just keep adding to the foliage stocks when I go to a show like this. Now, next up, I was after some of this. As you can see, that is rubberized horsehair. Now, Pete Waterman was going on about this the other day in a video, and I thought, I'm going to give it a try, and I think it would be good for making brambles. There is an area on the layout which you haven't seen yet, so I'm just going to do it, and I'll see what it's like. So I'm not going to show you anything how to do it yet, because I just want to make sure it's going to work properly for me first. There's no point in showing anybody else how to do it if it's not going to work for me. But I mean, having said that, Pete Waterman's done loads of this sort of stuff if you want to go and look at what he's done. And there was another little bag of scenery stuff, which this one is static grass type stuff, but 12mm. Now, I'll probably be honest, I won't necessarily use an applicator for that. I'll probably just stick it on and just use the vacuum cleaner to suck it up or something. I don't know at the moment. but again, it could be used in trees. There's like this fine branches, that type of thing. There's loads of different applications for static grass, isn't there? But anyway, that's that. Next up, I went to see my friends at HM Models, because they're not massively far away from me. And you may or may not be aware, I'm collecting press flow wagons, and I've actually got a little rake on the layout at the moment. Bear with. Voila. And I've got another one of these Dapol branded kits, but I've also got there's an old Triang one that I bought ages and ages and ages ago, which has got a completely metal chassis and the old hook type coupling. So I will be removing that coupling and fitting my magnetic couplings, which all of those do have, and they do tend to run so much better when they've all got the same type of coupling. It just works. And you know, it's experimenting, isn't it? You keep doing until you find the way till you get it right. But I've also got a couple of Airfix ones which I bought literally ages and ages and ages ago, and it's exactly the same kit. So obviously it's been passed down through the generations. The only difference being is that the wheels in those ones are plastic. So I will be replacing those with the metal wheels that I've recently got. And, you know, it should be fine. Incidentally, these do come with metal wheels. And as I said in the video a little while ago, Dapol have brought wheel making back to England. And so they're making lots of wheels. They've got a wheel making machine. So, you know, I dare say they'll start producing the kits of wheels again very, very soon. Right, what's next? Another pack of them. The AE Stylised with 2 tails. And these do work particularly well with HM7000. And, you know, it just gives me a little bit of extra boost. I have heard that with some other types of decoders, they do tend to drain very quickly. But the HM7000s, that it really does give the train a bit of a helping hand. And, you know, particularly if they've only got, if there's dead spots in your track. Now, next up is this. Now, yes, a railroad one. In possibly next week's video or week after, soon anyway, you will see I've started to do some experimenting with the Darlington set that I've got, because it would be nice to increase the length of it. Now, without going too much into that particular clip, the Traverser will support easily 6 carriages, so that's 1 more carriage. And with slight modification will support potentially 2. I can't fit 9 in. So if I do get another Hornby Azuma, full fat of course, then it can have 2 coaches each or potentially 1. The coaches for these, if I bought a pack of 4, you're looking £260. So, you know, that is a really, really, really expensive amount. And if I can only use 2 of the coaches, you get where I'm coming from. So what I've decided to do is I bought 1 of these with the view of doing it up, which was the intention when I bought the railroad set at Christmas. Now, effectively, although the tooling on these is marginally different, I'm hoping to replace the windows with something a little bit more similar to what's in the train, put an interior in it, fit it with lights using the LED strips, bridge rectifier and so on, and then connect it to pickups on the bogies. And if it hasn't already got pickups, I can use those DCC Concepts type pickups as well. So that should be all right. They do have the same couplings as the rest of the train, so it should be all right. But, you know, I thought that might be quite nice as a little project in the future. So, you know, that's that. Next up. Yes, I know. Do you know, when I bought it, first thing I did is I went to show Richard at Kira Scale, and he said, yes, that's the one I've got. Now, when I did my sliding river, and yes, it still needs to have resin put in it, I know, a lot of people said you need Thunderbird 1. And I'm thinking that is a really good idea. So what I'm hoping to do then is, as the river pulls away, there's some kind of system, maybe with pulleys and wires, where Thunderbird 1 will come lifting out. And maybe if I can do it without getting a copyright strike, use the music as well, which would be really, really funny. So, you know, now this is 1/44 scale, which is basically N gauge, pretty much. Double O gauge is obviously going to be, you know, massive, and I don't think I'd fit a double O gauge one into there as either, so that will be absolutely fine. And am I going to worry about it? Not in the slightest. So, you know, that's the way it's going to be, and you know, I think it's going to be fantastic when it's all done and painted. I was going to 3D print one, and there are files on Thingiverse if you're interested in doing that. There's a really good set of files. I don't know who's done it, I can't remember, but you know, you can just download them and print them off. So, but you know, it's your choice. Anyway, next up, now this last one, before I actually show it, many of you are maybe aware that I don't drive anymore, and so therefore the buses are a massive part of my life. So as part of that, I'm going to buy a couple of buses, modern buses. This is an Enviro 400 with, and if you're familiar with it, these have got the big smile on the front, across the grills and the headlights. So there's this one. They did have the next generation, which are called MMCs, or major model change, but they were nearly twice the price. So I thought, no, I'll stick with this one, and I do want one of these anyway. But the other one, I do want an MMC, but the new livery, Stagecoach livery, is dark blue with the Stagecoach logo just there. So I would like to see if I can get one of those. Even though somebody said to me, if I've not pre-ordered it, you stand no hope. Well, that might be true, but you never know. There might be a model bus company has got some in, and if I'm quick, I might be able to snap one up. You just don't know. Rousers Sheffield do these as well, and I know they had some of these particular ones at some point. So you never know. They might have these steel blue ones or the dark blue. So, but anyway, that's it. So I am going to put that on the bridge. Yes, I know it's a massive cliche, but you know, I like it, and I think this livery has worn on me now, and I think the colours are slightly darker than they are in reality, but I think that actually suits it now. So it's really grown, and so that will take place on the bridge going into I'm not sure quite what that area is going to be called. Maybe it might be something to do with Mayflower, but we'll see how it goes. And lastly is this. Now, you might think, well, why have I bought a foam? Because it's a cushion, basically. Zuma. Well, my daughter works for a hospital charity, and these are made by London Toy Company, and they donated a whole massive box of these, along with a load of other stuff, train stuff, to the hospital, and she had the pleasure of going around and distributing them to the children that were sick in the hospital. So when I saw that, I immediately thought of her, and I thought, I'm going to get one. And they would come from Locomotion Models, and I think London Toy Company make them exclusively for Locomotion Models. So if you want one, there is this one, there is a Eurostar, and I think they said they do a Flying Scotsman as well. think they said that one was out of stock. But again, if you're interested in buying one of these, you could use it as a doorstop if you really wanted to, or you could put it into your settee and use it as a bit of a cushion type thing, or whatever, you know. You can see they're about 2 foot long. So that is, and they're completely, it's a cushion, a squidgy toy, if you like. So I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. And, you know, if, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it really, but anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed the video and all the different things that have come out from this. Hope you've enjoyed seeing the layouts. And I will hopefully be back working on the layouts either next week, week after, or certainly soon. And I will see you again very, very soon here on Piccadilly Eastway. Now you just take care of yourself and bye for now. Finally at Pete Waterman's layout. And as you can see, this is Milton Keynes. Now I've heard him say on one of Mega Point's videos that this will be the last time this goes out for a couple of years. At Watford Junction now, so you can see there's the famous towers over there. It's not a lot moving at the moment, but obviously there's that station building there, and if you remember, we got a little model of that last year. Oh, there's something coming through here, 350s. See it in a second. Sorry about the flicker. And there is a 68, 88. Hard to see from here. There it is. Yes, that is definitely an 88. Pantographs down. Very reminiscent of the 350 I came upon.